Hi everyone, it's Lazy Fire. Welcome back to the Hate the Player podcast, the podcast where sometimes we have three people, sometimes we have two. This is actually the rare night where we have two people. Three Toes is here and
Well,
Arnold's here.
three of us,
All three.
Oh,
counting
so what
you.
does that make you?
I said three people.
No, you said
You
two
said two
people.
people.
You definitely said two people.
Oh well, I'm
Broman is aliens.
I'm your benevolent god. It's sometimes benevolent.
Praise fearless leader.
Yeah. So real quick, we tried something different last time with the podcast. I don't know if you guys bothered to look it up, but
No, what did you try when I was not here?
I actually
kinda concerned.
instead of putting like a static image over everything, I put about an hour worth of Shadow of Mordor over everything.
Oh, nice.
So you just get to see me fighting orcs and taking out chieftains, and it ends with me getting fucking beat by a level 20, which is max level orc.
Oh, that's
Who-
that's actually a pretty good idea. We should maybe think about doing that in the future.
Yeah, the problem is getting relevant gameplay footage.
Mhm.
Because I'd have to like find time to record something that doesn't fuck up. Because I got my new graphics card, I have shadow play. My attempt at shadow playing like a game of Battlefield 4 today was stymied by the fact that Shadowplay didn't want to record all the way through.
Bwah,
So
bwah.
it just decided to crap out. So I might actually meld a couple of clips I did have that looked pretty good together. But the clip that I lost isn't a huge loss. It's a lot of jihad kills and like 40 minutes of me trying to shoot down helicopters with a tank. So I missed every one of the
The
shots.
tastiest of kills.
Yeah, I after your game with me that I put on the channel, I felt like I should really do this more often because it's a lot of fun and people get really mad when you just
Oh, man.
knock a helicopter out of the air with a
What did that guy say at the end of that video?
Oh, he called us hackers.
Tanks can't kill planes.
Tanks can't kill planes after you shot the plane out of the sky with a tank.
He was upset. And you killed the same guy in a plane too.
I got him.
And-
I got him in a helicopter.
Oh.
I nailed him from like 3
And
miles
immediately
away.
he typed
Hacker.
fucking hacker because
Yes.
it was like FUCKGIN. Yeah. Oh, the tears.
I love it. In the game that I had to get rid of, or the video I have to edit down to just have jihad kills, I guess. There was a point where it was on Silk Road, and there's that ridge, and there was a guy like right at the edge of the ridge with his tank, and I couldn't quite get him with the jihad, and so I was jumping up and throwing C4 on the edge of the ridge. Then I ran away and blew it and killed him. And I'm like, hey, that was a pretty nifty kill. I'm glad I recorded that. And then I see in the thing, the top right, he's like, fucking, or the chat, he's just fucking C4 noob weapon, bullshit. Because he was on like a 32 kill streak, and I ended his kill streak.
Womp womp.
And then I frustrated that guy so much that game because I kept just driving bikes into him. Because on Silk Road, Three Toes, you wouldn't really know this, but there's one side,
Nope.
yeah, there's one side that's like all ridges and hills and everything and plateaus, and the other side's desert. And if you're
Sounds like my scrotum.
yeah, ha ha ha. So if you're on the ridges, you have this commanding view of the map, and you can just fire down on people with your tank and basically spawn camp them from like 3 points into the map. And so that's what they were doing, and I said fuck it, and I started, instead of using tanks, just jihading. And that's the easiest way to break a Silk Road spawn camp, is to jihad the tanks. And so that's how I won the game. I felt pretty good.
Glorious jihad.
Yes, the most glorious jihad kills.
So how is Shadows of Mordor? Is it like Assassin's Creed Middle Earth, or is it actually
It's
more than that?
the way I described it last week was Assassin's Creed and what was the other one? Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City
Oh, okay.
made a sex tape, and it was filmed by the Lord of the Rings beat 'em up games that came out with the movies.
Huh.
Like it's very much a Batman game. Like actually, it's pretty close to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. If you haven't played that, it basically took the Batman combat to a degree, and it's
Right.
like, if you're fighting guys, one of them's coming at you, you can reverse him, and do all these other moves to other people, kill these guys, use your different weapons and everything like that. It's your basic stuff.
Right.
The big change to the combat between Batman and Shadows of Mordor is that instead of like committing to a sword swing and having to go all the way through the sword swing like you do in Batman, if you like start a punch, you have to finish the punch. You can actually stop it by hitting the reverse button, no matter where you are. And so, if someone starts like swinging at you while you're swinging at like an orc, you can hit Y and you'll reverse whatever's coming at you. But the really weird part with that is that it doesn't work with the dodge move, which if you hit A, just like in Batman, if you double tap A in Batman, you like vault over the guy. And this, if you just single tap A, you'll roll or vault over the nearest person. But if you're swinging the sword, you can't break that animation to vault. And so there's enemies in the game that early on, the only defense you have against them is hitting the A button and then like trying to get a slice in because they'll attack you immediately afterwards. And so you'll be like, well, fuck, I'm done here. I can't beat this guy because the second I swing, I get attacked. And they're really annoying to fight at this point in the game, but there's a point where you can actually reverse them if you get a couple of the achievements or the mission completes. But yeah, it's a fun game. There's some really cool stuff in it. The Nemesis system is kind of a neat little thing that makes you... It's weird, I was actually invested in the random orcs that they were throwing at me. Like, you kill them, but they just regenerate and get better and come after you later. But if you decapitate them or explode their head with your ghost powers, they won't come back. And so you're like, I don't want this guy to die, so I can't use a finisher on the off chance I decapitate him. And then I can't die for a while because if I do, he'll get replaced until he regenerates. If he regenerates, he'll be fine. But if I die and he's down, I will lose him. So you're like taking fewer risks because you really want this one guy to come back and fight you again. It's kind of neat. I really like it. I've got about 13 hours into it now, and I've completed like 5 story missions. And there's apparently 2 maps, and I've only gone through the one of them so far. So I just walk around trying to find random bosses, beat them up, and go on my day. But it's really cool. I really
how's the storyline?
Well, like I said, I've only done a few of the missions, so I'm not really entirely sure how the storyline is. But I can see myself wanting to do like a let's play of this at some point, just because it's really fun to just go around and the big thing with this, in Batman, how there's like 5 guys on screen at any time, or like I think the max is like 13. This is like 50 is not an uncommon number of enemies to be in front of you. Because they'll walk in these like packs of 5 and 10 through these areas. It's like, hey, that guy's fighting some people, and they'll come in and join the fight, and it just keeps adding and keeps adding and keeps adding, and you just like are swinging and just you're not even aiming the swings, you're just hitting people. It's really fun.
Nice.
But I played that, and I played a bit of Battlefield 4 now that's been patched this week, so I've been doing that. Arnold, you and I played some Battlefield. How were you feeling about the patch?
Patch is good. Discovered God's PDW, the CZ3A1, praise be. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Like I said last week, it just feels better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't point to any one thing that makes it quote unquote feel better, but like the running, everything just feels like it's been tweaked ever so slightly to be how it should be for a Battlefield game.
Yeah, it feels closer to what Battlefield 3 was.
Right.
Yeah,
but,
I appreciate the changes they made in a lot of ways.
Oh, definitely. I like a bunch of the weapons needing one more bullet to kill. Let's see, something about the run speed feels better. I don't know what they changed, but Ooh, no, they changed something.
Yeah,
I mean, everything just in general feels better.
They changed the acceleration, I believe. So you're accelerating at the same rate you did in Battlefield 3 instead of Battlefield 4, where you kind of started off slow and then like get to a full sprint after like a second or two. Now it's just like stop to go, sprint full time, which is nice. And then there's a few like weird changes. Like I feel like the RPK 74. I don't know if you used that before, but that has become like I started using that today, and it feels really good. But the really neat thing is what they ended up doing with the hit indicators.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you hit somebody like right in the head, you get this big fat indicator, and then if you're hitting them in the extremities, you get this tiny little one. I think that's really neat, a good idea. Just so you know, like, oh, the reason I didn't kill that guy is because I got 5 arm hits, or something like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun now, except when you get put on a shitty team, which is always bad.
Well, with Badman.
With Badmans. Yeah, the 3 times you missed this, we were, well, because you don't play Battlefield 4 on a PC, but we were, holy shit, Arnold, what are you doing?
I think my mic is combusting. Hang on.
That was weird. We were playing the server, and we decided, like, you'd see the server admins and owners and the clan that ran it were voting one way for the next map, and we'd come in and just like absolutely wipe out their vote. And so it's like, oh, they're voting for number 6, which was like Goldman Railway Large. So we voted for Zavad, and we go to Zavad, we do the round, we absolutely fucking rock these guys to the point where they couldn't do anything to us. And then the teams auto balance,
failure of democracy.
And we look, and we're like, we're gonna vote for Altai Range. We end up on Altai Range, which is like one of those maps people don't really play in the game. And then as soon as the map starts loading, the admin changed the map to Goldman Railway. and so we're just like yelling at they had to fly, and they couldn't handle an MAA in a map. So it was pretty ugly. We were just basically saying, you guys are morons, how do you think your server's going to populate if you keep doing this shit?
Oh, yeah. It was good time.
Like,
Badminning is
what's
fun.
The next map? Oh, well, we voted for Locker. No. What's the map the admins are going to change it to?
Hey, anybody who kills me is
sort
cheating.
Of shit, I guess you're
anybody better than me is bad. Anybody who uses
in
something that I don't use
Battlefield
is a bad player. Basically,
if we like to admit it or not.
Yep, everyone is hacking. Anyone who kills me is hacking.
And so we complain about those people, though. Yeah.
Yep. Bingo. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
And everyone is hacking if they shoot you. Yep.
Any gun that gets a kill is overpowered.
Yep. Jeez, Arnold, that's a harsh mic.
Wait. So
I don't know
why.
So 3 Toes,
What the
have
fuck?
you been doing anything interesting vis-a-vis video games this week, or have anything to talk about?
No, not at all.
I'm
Other
trying
than
to
apparently
avoid
I'm like the
my
funniest person
podcast,
to ever
baby.
hit the Painkiller Already subreddit.
Whoa, you're mildly retarded instead of full on
Yeah, I
retarded.
know. Really.
Yeah.
What?
It sounds like he's constantly falling down a set of staticky stairs.
Yeah, I'm getting all this static on like my sound meter, but I'm not hearing anything. So I'm kind of hoping that my sound file isn't fucked as well.
Yeah, well, we'll find out later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you posted
So
that picture.
I wouldn't say regularly, but every once in a while I'll go to the Painkiller Array subreddit just for cannon fodder for this show and see, in what new way people are sucking Woody's gamertag's dick. Which, by the way, if you look at pictures of that guy lately, he looks like he kind of resembles a 60-year-old man in like his posture. He's just like, and he was touting like he had lost some weight or something, which really he was never a big dude at all.
Yeah.
But he apparently lost some weight. He just looks like frail and kind of hunched over now.
Ooh.
It's kind of weird. And real like pasty and pale, but I guess when you spend all day managing a Minecraft server via computer, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, something on my Twitter feed, this guy had posted a picture of himself. And he looked like a black version of Wings of Redemption.
Nothing has changed.
Like almost just like the guy. So
I'm sorry.
Wings of Redemption being, the barrel of good feelings and joy in the world that he usually is always talking about how he's trying to like turn his life around and whatnot.
Jesus Christ! Get a real goddamn mic. Listen to it just go.
I can't hear anything. Are you sure it's him?
I'm like 100% that it's him. We both hear it. He knows it's him.
Well, I don't hear it, so it might be me.
The shitty sounds are coming from inside the podcast. Okay, did you unplug Ahnuld?
I guess he did.
Yeah, see? It's him.
Alright. But anyway, yeah, I found this picture of a guy who looks like a black version of Wings of Redemption. I put it on the PKA subreddit saying that Wings decided to, take a new direction in life as a strong, independent black man. And I'm pretty sure I got more upvotes than anything else that has ever been on that subreddit.
Ugh, that's sad.
It was something like 350 upvotes.
Well, aren't they basically jerking themselves off over Wings of Redemption being a terrible person now?
No, there's a pretty strong contingent that still like the guy for whatever reason and want to get him back on the podcast because he's not on it anymore. They kicked him off.
Right.
He was back for a portion because they had their 200th episode recently, apparently.
Oh, sadly.
And Wings was on that episode. I haven't watched or listened to it, so I have no idea what happened. But it was probably sad, as usual.
Yes.
Which I mean, like, I genuinely feel bad for the guy at this point, but at some point you just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, the question is this like the way all YouTube superstars are going to have to go? Because there was a time where, like, Wings of Redemption for his subset of videos was absolutely fucking untouchable. Like, no one came close to his level of fandom.
Well, because he was the one of the first guys to actually, get into gameplay commentary or whatever the fuck you want to call it. He was one of the first people to put his voice over Call of Duty gameplay.
Yeah.
The problem is he never like got any better at what he does in terms of like production, what he offers, whereas other people, saw it as a chance to do something, different and unique. He just kept going with the exact same formula and then bitched and moaned how nobody would support him anymore.
Yeah, Ahnuld.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, it's the same thing. Look at something like Apple and Microsoft. It's the exact same sort of thing. Like you get on top and you become stagnant, and then somebody new comes along and they do it better. And then you're constantly fighting to get back to where you were, and you're never quite as good as you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's as good as he ever was. It's just, in retrospect, he was never that good because it was just him talking over a video game.
Right.
And now you've got people who develop, as shitty as they may be, they're developing characters and personas to do videos under. Like, I hope to God that someone like CNanners is not like that in real life.
Yeah.
Because I cannot imagine having an active, fruitful social life being a complete tool in real life the way he just comes across in some videos.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely people who are doing it as an act or whatever you want to say it is, but
right.
With Wings, he was always pretty upfront about exactly who he was, which was a redneck who played video games from his double wide, and like.
I like how you try to insert a little twang in there.
He
said double wide.
Double wide.
Let's leave that to Three Toes.
Yeah. You're the one from
God damn it, I ain't got no accent.
Actually, Three Toes, I have to talk to you because I may end up being in your neck of the woods in a few weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. May not have any time to hang out, but I will be near there.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
I can at least point you to some cool places to go.
It's seriously like a couple days, and one of those days is going to be sleeping, the other day's a wedding, and then the other day's driving. So, if you know any places that are really good at going away from North Carolina, let me know.
Oh, you'll be in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aren't
I'm
they all the same,
4
though?
hours away from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
But I do know, depending on what part of North Carolina you're in, I can give you some suggestions.
Okay. Yeah.
Where are you going to be?
Jeez. Wherever there's an airport.
Charlotte's the big one.
The other C.
Um,
Canton or something.
Canton?
Nah, I don't know. Not worried. I'm not the one driving. So
We'll figure this out later.
Yeah, we'll be fine. So, speaking of people who are doing stupid shit with YouTube, I don't know why we went on that weird "I'm going to be in your area" diversion. The Shadows of Mordor.
Apparently, I have an accent.
Yeah, that's right. Shadows of Mordor generated a bit of controversy because there were no PC early review copy keys handed out to anybody, except for a group of YouTubers who were told that if they wanted to do this, they had to put together up to 3 videos, or no, they had to do a video, a Twitch stream, and tweet about it and post about it on Facebook about how much they like Shadows of Mordor, and they could monetize videos and get advertising dollars from it and everything like that. And they had to show off specific things about it. They weren't allowed to show off any bugs or talk negatively about the game, and a lot of people took that money. So it generated a lot of controversy because it wasn't WB that made that decision to give these guys basically review copies of the game so they could talk the game up in the weeks before launch. It was their PR firm's idea to do this, and so WB distanced itself. We never pay for good review scores. Well, you didn't. You paid for YouTube guys to say positive things about your game, and you can't even say, well, we didn't pay for them to say positive things, because it's right in the contract that they have to say positive things. They're not allowed to say anything negative about the game, talk about any glitches or anything like that they may have found. I mean, it's pretty much, with Battlefield there was that controversy where it's like, hey, talk about your favorite Levolution moment, and blah blah blah, we'll pay you for that. And you're not allowed to talk about glitches, you're only allowed to talk about the Levolution. And so people freaked out, like, oh my god, these guys are paid shills for EA, they're getting money from EA to say nice things about the game, all that crap. So it's the same thing, but this time I think there's a much better point that people are making. Like, they didn't go to game company or game review companies, they went to YouTube people who had X number of subscribers. They had to be over a threshold, and they could get the game early. And they had to do these, it can be up to half an hour long, it has to be at least 15 minutes. The contract itself is really, really rigid. And so people were taking it, and, it's one of those things where, I don't know if you guys watched the Gaming Grumps at all.
Mm-mm.
No. So they're like a group of people who review or play games, and there was a point where there was a contest for Dead Space 3, or no, it was like an EA promotion. So Dead Space 3 demo came out, and they're like, okay, play half an hour of Dead Space 3 demo and talk about it. And everyone commented on the video that they put out for this that they were really phoning it in, they seemed not interested in this at all, and they just it met the bare requirements. They talked about you have to shoot the limbs next, and that shit. And that's kind of exactly what they're talking about here. It's we're gonna just take the money to do this very narrow thing you told us to do, and we see nothing wrong with this at all. And so people are upset that play the game. People are upset, because it could have been very easy for these guys to mislead people who saw the videos. Like, what if the game was terrible, but they took this deal, so they kind of got forced to make a positive video about the game? So, I don't know. That might be something we want to discuss a bit. YouTube, WB. No.
I mean, I don't know. I take them even less seriously than I do any other quote unquote video game journalist, and they're not even trying to be video game journalists. Like, I don't know. I really don't. I guess my opinion is kind of moot here because I don't fucking play games anymore anyway. Apparently.
Yeah. Oops.
But even when I did, like, I didn't really care what anyone on YouTube thought about a game. Granted, I'm not 12 to 16 years old, who's like the target demographic for a lot of these YouTube guys.
Yeah.
I can go out and look up. I would definitely go to YouTube to look for actual game footage, and specifically, non-official game footage. I would look for somebody who's actively playing the game, who is not one of the developers who's going to cherry pick good footage. But I never really listened to what they had to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Arnold, any thoughts on this?
When you say video game journalism, it just makes me sad inside.
I know,
because
that's why I said it.
I'm old enough that I remember when video games were just, oh god, holy shit.
Here we go.
Feel so old even fucking saying this. I remember when video games were Nintendo. Like, instead of like playing video games, it'd be like, oh, are you playing Nintendo? Yes, I am. Or playing Atari, or one of those two. That's all.
Back
video
when
games were.
Back when I begged my mom to pay $20 a year so I could get a paper copy of Game Pro magazine every month.
I got EGM actually. My first issue was issue
one of the
42,
rich kids.
and the only reason my parents got it is because it had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on front.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I actually had a Nintendo Power subscription for many years.
Oh,
yeah, my
So,
brother
I
had
that
Nintendo
too.
Power. I had the Game Pro subscription.
Yeah, my parents bounced me around between video game magazine subscriptions because, well, here's the weird thing. I read a lot as a kid. I still do. Like, to a point where you're like, I don't understand. This is a modern person. But they would always just, like, get me these magazines that were written for, like, 6th graders, no matter how old I was. So, like, I got my license, and you have to bring in a piece of mail to prove your address. And the only piece of mail I ever got, like, no one ever sent me mail, was my
Who said
fucking
Nickelodeon
PlayStation Monthly magazine. So I had to bring in a fucking Solid Snake cover of PlayStation magazine to prove my address. I had no other options, literally none. I could have sent myself a letter, I guess, but I wasn't that smart. So that was.
I wish your driver's license photo had you holding up the issue of it just for like continuity's sake.
No, the worst part of my current driver license photo is that I look directly at the camera, which meant looking down. So my beard plus my neck flab like got into the picture.
Tremendous double chin.
You know how, like, when you look down, even if you're not, like, overweight, you'll still have, like, the skin on the other side of your jaw?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. So it looks like I have something like a quadruple chin, and I'm just looking every time.
Truly the gooniest of goons.
Every time I look at that picture, I'm like, God damn it. And people will be like, oh, congratulations on losing all that weight. It's like, no.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Just take a fat photo and show it around. Yeah. So I don't know how we got to that, but this is like a night of I have no idea how we got anywhere. But the
Yeah, fuck this episode.
yeah,
Fuck this episode. Yes, that's the title.
the name of the episode. The
Fuck
Dead Gay
this episode.
The Dead Gay Armcast was a hit. So I don't know. That was a moment when I put the Dead Gay Armcast online. I'm like, well, this will either go real well or real poor.
Either way, no such
Hold
thing
on
as
to your
bad
butts.
publicity.
Finally, a podcast about me and my dead gay arm. It's like, oh,
hey, you know what? That's it. If I died being a goon, being the nerd that I am, I would want that sort of send off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be all right with that. When I inevitably die of some cocaine, alcohol related incident, that's how I want you guys to send me off.
Okay.
Arnold, you're in Florida. It's most likely going to be a meth lab explosion.
Yeah, just walking down the street, suddenly a meth lab explodes.
Hey, I've got.
Well,
I've got
he does have
now.
access to a lot of amphetamines.
Yeah,
I could just seal off that end of the house and just cook. Time to cook, Jesse.
It's like the dog looks at you like, why do you keep calling me Jesse?
I'm actually going to take an ad on Facebook and be like, I'm looking for roommates named Jesse. If you want to change your name to Jesse, that's okay.
Oh, man. Lord.
You will call me Mr. White.
This is not a role play. This is real life.
Yes. Chemistry experience a plus.
Yeah, if you
No
happen to know what I'm doing here. So yeah, the Shadows of Mordor thing, I think, is just kind of a weird area of. It's like a gray area. WB obviously didn't do anything bad. This was their PR firm. They had limited control, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's where do you just say, okay, that was a really fucked up thing you did. We're going to give you a pass this time. I think this is going to be like, sadly, what you're going to see a lot of. Because there was an article, I think Kotaku of all people ran, that when they stopped jerking off to Sailor Moon coming back, they had to talk about this. And the article basically said they went and talked to some of the people who took it, and they're saying that, like, look, I don't make as much money off of the views as I used to. They make up like 35% of my income. A lot of it's switched over to Patreon, and then it's also like deals like this one. So a lot of these guys are in, like, it looks like for mid-level YouTube guys, it's getting less and less viable as a life or a career, which is great. If people could go back to actually making things just for the hell of it, and not because they want to be YouTube famous, that would be fantastic. I'd enjoy that. Speaking of which, we really need to get started on that LP someday.
Yeah.
One day. Yeah.
I think we're not going to script the episodes. I think we're going to stop. I'm going to go edit everything together in the next week or so, and we're not going to bother scripting because fuck. So, I actually wanted to talk about that. We might want to try running that script anyways, just for that first episode, to see how it goes. But fuck
it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. That might be how we have to do it, because I guess we didn't really talk about this a ton. So we're planning on doing the Medal of Honor LP, and with all three of us, and the thing I wanted to try to do was basically make it like an episode of MST3K each time you watched, because it's a 4-hour long game at most, and it's ridiculous and it's over the top and it's bullshit. I was going to make GIFs for it and everything, because some stuff just happens and it's like glitched out moments and everything like that. In the last level, for example, I hit somebody with a grenade launcher and it launched him up 40 feet in the air, and he goes up, and I just watch as he flies in the air, and then he comes back down and crashes on the mountain, and I'm like, God damn it, this game. So usually they just explode into red mist when you hit them with a grenade, but that guy went flying. So we're going to try to script it, and that led to like 3 weeks of, okay, we're going to write this script, and then I finally finished the script after we did like one session of talking about what we'd like to do, what we'd like to add, what we'd like to take away, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of sat, and I didn't go into it to assign names. You guys didn't go into it to assign names to any of the jokes.
Effort.
Yeah, effort is at a minimum. And I'm like, well, it's a really good idea, and for people who have a lot of free time, this would be a fantastic idea. But for us, with limited time for each of us, like this, when we record this, is like the time that we generally have free. It's not even always guaranteed.
Even then, not every week.
Yeah, right. It's It's difficult
And-
for us to say, yeah, this is it.
Bitches ain't gonna fuck themselves.
Yeah, it's tough to have an active social life and actually do things on the internet. Turns out.
Yeah, I've been having.
So therefore, anyone successful on the internet doesn't have a life.
That was weird. So
Yeah.
that was creepy.
Yep. That just happened.
You,
Not
my wife.
scripted.
What the hell?
Yep.
So
Well,
yeah, I guess I really do want to say, like, let's review the episodes. If you have any jokes that you want to make, let me know.
Right.
We'll try to work them in. But on most everything else, I think we should just go fuck it. So that's me. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, and hopefully I'd like to start recording these soon, rather than later.
Yeah, I still really, really want to do it. It sounds like it's a really good idea. I think we can get it to turn out really, really
are we
well.
still podcasting? I feel like we're not.
Yeah,
podcasting.
this is the casual cast.
This is
section of the
this is
podcast.
Kaz.
Casual fuck this podcast. Roman and Arnold are drunk.
But no, like this is also, it's fucking football season, man. It's kind of hard to do anything that doesn't involve football on the weekends.
Dolphins lost.
Roll Tide.
Oh, fuck the Dolphins. The Tide lost, if you
Good.
hadn't heard, Arnold. This was all of 2 weeks ago at this point.
I haven't watched football. It's well,
Whoa.
thanks.
Arnold's not a real man. He doesn't watch football.
Well, that's right. That's right. Sorry, too busy. Never mind. I'm drunk. I'm not going to say that.
I play real sports. I'm not trying to be the best at working out. I don't do CrossFit.
I do real sports like ultimate frisbee.
Oh, actually, I have a group of friends. Well,
Good story.
I have a group of friends that actually play ultimate frisbee, and it's actually a lot of fun. Thank
Yeah, I
you
love
very
frisbee.
much. God damn it!
At least you're not talking about frisbee golf.
God.
Actually, we call it frolf.
No, frolf is frog golf.
Okay, then we call it Gisby.
Have you not seen the frog golf LP? You need to see that.
What? No.
They're
Please tell me you like bat frogs into holes.
yeah, it's straight up like this GameCube game. It's got this cartoonish setting, and the move
I would
like,
hope so.
to like make a frog go somewhere. You hit it with a mallet, and then it jumps, basically like you're playing a golf game. It's absolutely hilarious, and the guy who did the LP got high on acid and deleted it all by mistake. And so he had to do a second round of it because people were like, because he'd go into like Twitch streams and stuff and just spam "Frolf means frog golf" over and over again because he was high on acid.
I remember that. Frolf means frog golf. Frolf means frog golf.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I was sad to see that LP go away because it was hilarious. And it was just there was no filter on any of them, which I mean makes total sense if you're playing fucking frolf means frog golf, but couldn't even say the words. Yeah, I need to go find that. I need to send that to you guys because he restarted it up and brought in a bunch of other people, and it's just hilarious stuff. So yeah, that's the LP we want to do. Otherwise, I've been fairly quiet. I don't get to see my house very often, so that's been fun. We had a bonfire the other day. Burned a chair, burned a door. It was good times. That's my social life.
Oh
Nice.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. There's nothing really suitable for me to say on the podcast, so.
Never is. I don't know why
Yeah.
I even bother.
Yeah, there kind of isn't. So, well, but I find time. I'm working my way through Wasteland 2, and been playing a fair amount of Daisy mod, and yeah, I mean, really, that's pretty much it as far as video games right now.
Oh yeah, Three Toes. You may have missed this because I think he's only talked about it when you're not around. But Arnold switched over to fucking just the mod of DayZ instead of DayZ Alpha.
Oh, so not the standalone, like
Oh, the
just,
standalone has gone to a bad place.
I've heard that. I've heard several people say that
Like they've had tweets saying that it takes like 3 months to model a building, and there are people in the thread on Something Awful who are 3D modelers or no modelers. I mean, and they're saying I could be drunk and model a building like that in a week. You know, I think it's straight up GTA 4. Oh, Nico, let's make video games. Hey. No, seriously. I mean, like, you laugh, but I really think that's what it is.
It's
just straight up like, oh, hey, we sold 1 million copies. Who gives a shit? Hey.
Let us go to the strip club and look at big American titties.
No, Nico Magazine.
Let's go to a movie.
Bowling.
Go bowling. Yeah. Let's get drunk and throw darts. And then you drive home drunk in the game. Always good.
Oh, man. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish they hadn't taken that aspect out of Grand Theft Auto 5. Like the whole driving drunk.
I have to imagine that caused a lot of issues legally.
I'm sure it did, but it was still fun.
Well, they try to take everything that's fun out of games anyways, you know that.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that everything's an homogeneous experience, that you can just basically plug one game into the other and it'd be the same thing but with different graphics and maybe better runtime environments, who knows. I was thinking about that the other day with Borderlands 2 and Call of Duty, how the first Borderlands game straight up said, we took your control schemes from your favorite games and put them into this game. The game
yeah, and they named one like Master Chief, and they like it was all really, really thin allusions to each of the different controller types.
Oh yeah, your starting control scheme in the first Borderlands game was straight up the Call of Duty controls.
Yeah.
Like, no difference. It's like...
I'd have to look up the names of the control schemes, but like one was a Call of Duty reference, one was a Halo reference.
Yeah. It's nothing wrong with that, and using the same control scheme.
No, yeah, I mean, hey, if you play Halo and you like to play your shooters like this, here's your control setup. This is a Halo control setup.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's one of those things that PC is just... I still, to this fucking day,
Pleb.
they still don't have the ability to fucking map controls on console games.
Yeah, that is terrible.
I do not understand why that's the case. I wonder if it's like a thing about... Remember when like Nintendo would sue company, or was getting sued because people like hurt their hand playing Mario Party because they had to rotate the stick faster than the other people, so they would like basically break their controller
and then they
and
started
hand.
giving you like gloves when you bought the game.
Yeah, they'd give you gloves, or they took their first move was to take the stick spinning out, and that was like probably a good move in the first place. But I wonder if it goes that far back, and it's just like, if we do something stupid and like we're gonna, you know, it has to stay on this control scheme that's approved by the console maker or something like that. Who knows? Like with the weirdness that happens with the consoles, like Microsoft has their day and date parity stuff, where it's you have to, if you launch a game on the Xbox, if you want to launch a game on Xbox One, it generally has to launch the same day on the Xbox One as it does every other platform, or Microsoft won't let it happen. And they're like, no, we're trying to protect gamers to make sure that it's all okay, but it has to contain the same features. If there's like a day one patch or something like that, that sneaks by Microsoft's radar. But it's like, why are you doing that? That's just making sure that, you know, if your version of the game needs more time, it just hurts everyone else's chances of seeing the damn thing. But it also means that because Sony's been snatching up all this time with indie developers, that Microsoft has like no indie games, which are driving the industry right now. So, kind of funny to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's no way to say it without sounding like I'm smoking a pipe and adjusting my monocle and bow tie. But I feel like I outgrew consoles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is funny because I was a PC gamer when I was 12. And then went to consoles and then came back about a year ago. And it's just... They're just... I mean... there are pros and cons to each. But I feel just the amount of money you spend on games on console, it's hidden costs. One way you're paying one way or another with the like PCI build. Okay, yeah, sure, you spend $1,700. Okay, you're good. There you go. Console. Okay, you pay $500 up front, then you pay $60 for every game.
Yeah.
Or $40 or $20 if you wait. You know, but even still, it adds up.
Yeah.
With Steam, you're paying, I wait till it's $2 or 99 cents or free.
And the argument that a lot of the console owners will make towards this is that they can just rent the games. They don't need to buy them.
I guess, but the Spurg in me needs to have it.
Just in case you want to play it again.
That's right.
I mean, I'm looking at this pile of Xbox 360 games that I probably will never touch again right now.
Yeah.
That I bought at one point or another, and I'm like, I could go sell these back to GameStop for like $12 in store credit.
Yeah, I gave my 360s to the kids, and yeah, they have all the games.
Yeah.
And it's funny for the about 50 games I had, they basically just played Battle Block Theater.
Yeah. Because they're children. They're dumb.
Yeah.
Kids are dumb. Remember.
Yeah, whatever. But it's their Mario.
That's sad.
You know. Well, no, but I mean, when I was watching them play, it's their Mario. You know, like there are parts that are ridiculously hard. I'm looking at you, World 8-1, with that fucking one block fucking place that I died at hundreds of times as a child. Oh God!
Wait, with the series of one block spaces?
Yes.
You can just
that fucking 8-1.
You can just sprint over those.
No. Yeah. You can sprint over the ones that are like one block away.
Yeah.
But then there's this one jump. Well, no, it's a series of like 4 jumps. One jump to like a 4 brick wide one, then a 2 brick wide one, and then there's just a 1 brick wide one. And I miss that fucking jump every goddamn time.
Yeah, the gap isn't 1 block wide. It's the landing that's 1 block.
Yeah, it's the landing.
Yeah.
It's a big gap, so you have to hold B and run and hit A. And sometimes you make the jump, sometimes you don't, and then sometimes you actually land the jump and you fall fucking off. And it's just
the frustrations.
God, trauma. The trauma. Oh God, the trauma that game and put on me as a child.
You know what I was thinking the other day is that they have those Atari like little consoles, and like you go into the store and there's like an Atari thing. It's like, we've got 12 games built in, so it's got like 3 bytes of memory to it, and you can buy that for like $30. Can you imagine in 40 years you go into a fucking Big Y or a ShopRite or whatever the fuck you have, the Piggly Wigglies you fuckers go to, and you go in there and there's the fucking Xbox 360 Legacy console. It's like $30 and you get all the Halo games and you get Mass Effect and shit like that. Like that seems like the kind of thing that eventually we'll end up with, right?
You give it to your grandkids for a hastily thought of Christmas present and they absolutely fucking hate it.
It's like, why would I want to play these old games, Grandpa, you fucking retard? They bitch slap you. They're all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Yeah, so that's... I that was like one of those thoughts. It's like, that'd be actually kind of cool. You walk into a store someday and that's there. Then you remember all the times you had with that console, and then you can't remember why you fucking bought it in the first place.
Hey, I'll say, of all the consoles I had as a kid, well, actually, they were all Nintendo.
Yeah.
We've had this talk before, but I straight. I had an NES, an SNES, a Nintendo 64, and Nintendo 64 kind of fucking sucked.
Yeah, it gets a pretty good rap in hindsight, but at the time, it was the thing to have.
Yeah.
When you think
I've
about
never
it,
had a Sony. I've never had a PlayStation, just because the little kid in me was just, I always had a Nintendo. I was playing Nintendo.
yeah,
And Grandma asking if I was playing Nintendo, and I'm playing Sony. That's not playing Nintendo. You can't do that.
Grandma's gonna be freaked out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But my old NES still works as of like a year ago.
yeah. Those things are crazy durable. Like I was reading this thing. Somebody had grabbed he left his Game Boy Advance outside for winter or something, and he found it when the snow melted, and sure enough, it still ran when he started it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, some of the stuff that happens out there with this technology. But Nintendo built stuff to last. It's basically the Toyota of consoles. So
That's a pretty good analogy.
yeah. So before we wrap up here, I just wanted to bring in one comment from the last video. It's from Eva A. I usually don't do this, by the way. On the
That's
top,
because usually nobody fucking says anything.
yeah, that's true. But during the last podcast, Arnold, do you remember your transsexuals rant?
Yeah.
Okay, so the basics of it were Arnold was saying that someday there's going to be quotas in video games to have a specific amount of like everyone in there or something like that. So Eva A wrote, on the topic of do we have enough transsexuals thing, on the lack of minorities in games, look at it this way: other orientations, genders, races don't need to add anything to the story as long as they are actually handled in a normal way. The protagonist is a straight white guy. Does him being straight or white add anything to the story? In 99% of the cases, no, it's just the default normal that the industry uses to point where things, where having different colored skin has to be a plot point, where someone being queer has to be central to the story. I don't know why he used the word queer or she used the word queer there. That's
No. I actually know a couple people who identify as queer.
yeah,
Not like, dude, when you get into I guess higher, I don't know how to say it. There's no, like, being a straight white male, it's really hard to talk about because it sounds condescending. But once you get into the more complicated gender issues, like the people that believe that, you know how binary is 1 or 0, you're man or woman. Well, people think that gender is kind of like it's not an on-off switch, it's a dimmer. You know, it varies in between. And from my understanding, they're all sorts. There are people who identify as queer, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual. I identify with a chair, whatever. No, I'm not saying that to be insulting. I like just yeah. People that are into all sorts of things, and what you're into, that's great. And she raises a really great point. And does it add anything to the game? Okay, that's all that matters. If it adds something to the game, great. If not, who cares?
Yeah,
but in the end of the at the end of the day, they're trying to sell games, and most people are straight and white and male in video games, which is why you still see the ridiculous movies on women, the one-dimensional caricatures, and is that going to change in time as video games become more quote-unquote art? Yeah, but like any art form, I mean, you can go back and look at movies in the 20s. They weren't exactly deep. It's going to have growing pains, and we're going through that now. And I think in the next 20 years, you're going to see really, really great games. And, I mean, you're seeing it now. Look at Gone Home. Gone Home, great story. I shed a tear. I shed a tear at the end when I got through it all. And it has some some
LGBT.
Wow, LGBT type stuff in it, but it didn't feel forced, and they were really telling a story, and it was great. And I think you're going to see more and more and more of that as time goes on, and that's great because everybody's not the same, and it's okay to be different, and sometimes that makes for a really interesting story.
Well, I think,
and like I was talking with you about Fragments of Him last week, the game about grief. Right. You're a gay guy in it, and hey, that's okay. It was a great story because loss is universal, whether you're gay, straight, like lamps, or whatever else.
I think the point Ava was trying to make is actually closer to your second example than your first. Like she or he, I can't, I never know with internet names. I'm so sorry. I'm a cisgendered white male. I don't know. So
right,
yeah, I'm cis scum that I should die. So the big point I think she was trying to make is that in Shadows of Mordor, we're talking about the scene where you stalk up behind your wife and give her a kiss,
right?
And like you were trying to slit her throat. Yeah. By the way, Three Toes, you should know that in Shadows of Mordor, your tutorial on how to stealth kill people is kissing your wife when she doesn't expect you to do it. And there was an article that was definitely by Polygon that got reprinted by Patrick Klepek at Giant Bomb, so it was just like hit all the things I dislike about game journalism. Do you know there's actually a plugin to take away Patrick Klepek from Giant Bomb? It's pretty great. Anyways, the big thing was that, her point, the point she uses later on in that piece I was quoting is, in Shadows of Mordor, if you snuck up on your wife and you were black, that shouldn't factor into the game. If you snuck up on your wife and you were both women, that shouldn't factor into the game. Like, you shouldn't just go, okay, we're gonna have a gay character and that's gonna be the plot. We're gonna have a gay character, we're not gonna comment on it. We're going to have, it's not really the thing. Like, we're not doing this just to say, look at this, a gay character.
Right.
It's a caricature or anything like that. Your second example is really good. In your first example, I think Gone Home is a little worse for the wear because the story's driven by it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but in what she was talking about, and she can correct me in comments or whatever it may be, it might be a little bit closer to what she was talking about was with Fragments of Him versus the Gone Home thing. Plus, Gone Home, not actually a video game, more of an interactive slideshow.
I'm more the games are art type, so I see what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree, but at the same time, I really like the story. I thought it was great.
So I think it's about time we wrap this up. We've been going on a little bit longer than I expected, but technical difficulties. Yeah, technical difficulties will do this to us. So,
well,
yeah. Well, I think I'm probably gonna have to cut out that entire thing where your mic was freaking out, Arnold.
Yeah. There'll be a nice little 30-second spot where I stopped recording because I unplugged my mic and plugged it back in.
Oh, wonderful.
Audacity didn't like that.
What did it do?
Just cut off for a little bit.
Okay. Oh boy. All right. Well, Three
You're
Toes.
welcome.
You have anything you want to say before we head out?
Hail State.
Hail State. Oh boy, that sounds like a college football thing.
Clanga. Yeah. I'm officially declaring Bama as dead. The dynasty's over.
Nick Saban's gonna go
Hail Mississippi State.
Roll Tide.
Hail State.
Oh.
Hail State.
Oh.
Wow, Mississippi's actually beating Alabama in something. That's
Why
nice.
don't I ever come up with catchy 2-syllable things like that? God.
Sorry.
Because
so
you're not from the real South. You're from fucking Florida.
Yep.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully next week we'll have a bit more fruitful discussion. uh,
Yeah.
or a discussion of some nature, even. So, no last words, anyone? Fantastic.
State.
Roll State.